This program is brought to you in part
quirky creations that have captivated our hearts and put smiles on our faces.
My name is Reyn Guyer, and I am a toy and game inventor. I am the man who was head of the teams that developed Twister and the Nerf ball.
Although Twister and Nerf have enjoyed phenomenal success, Reyn Guyer never intended to be a toy inventor. His idea for the contortionistic creation Twister came to him while he was working on a promotional ploy for shoe polish.
I began to work on colored pieces of paper being on the feet of kids and then having a grid that they stood on, and all of a sudden it snapped in, hello. The people are the players here, and there's nothing out there like that. And so I rolled out a sheet of corrugated board, drew a grid on it, and got some of the folks to get on the board with me, and the blue team did this and the green team did that. And by the time we got 8 of us on the board, it was a riot. We were all just standing there. Wait a minute, we're not allowed to do this, get that close to each other. We're having a good time.
But just before the game was to be released nationwide, Twister's biggest distributor got cold feet due to the game's risque nature.
So Twister was a dead issue, except for a public relations company who had gotten the game on the Johnny Carson show.
Everybody has a hot one, it's a Twister.
And that's all it took.
All the guys and gals are playing Twister. Spin the spin and call the shot.
Just 5 years after Johnny Carson helped make Twister a household name, Reyn Guyer hit pay dirt a second time with a spongy little toy called Nerf.
Well, this may not be the very first, but it's one of the original Nerf balls that we cut out with scissors. It's polyurethane polyether.
Oddly enough, these first Nerf balls weren't intended to be balls at all, but rather foam rocks used in a complicated and ultimately ill-fated game called Caveman.
Well, the game, of course, was, but the process of cutting out the rocks, somebody else took the rocks and started bouncing it back and forth, and from there, the light went on for everybody and said, wait a minute, Caveman over here, rocks, we look for rocks.
What began as a bogus rock soon spawned an entire line of games and weapons. But the real appeal of these soft, spongy toys is how they allow you to safely roughhouse in the house.
Anything that was foam could be a Nerf product, and from there, the whole concept has grown and grown and grown.
And as different as Nerf and Twister are, Reyn Guyer knows that his two creations are the same in one important way, a characteristic that many classic toys share.
Really good ideas break a rule. And in the case of Twister, the rule that was broken at that time was more of a moral rule that you just can't get that close to someone else. And in the case of Nerf, there was no throwing balls in the house. And this was the first ball you could throw at the lamp and it wouldn't break. And I think you'll find in most major long-term successes in products, they break some form of rule.
Whatever the reason for their success, no one can argue with the impact that classic toys have had on our lives. They're the tiny building blocks that have helped form the foundations of our imagination. They're the dolls and action figures that have encouraged millions to dream. They are the quirky creations that have amused, entertained, and captivated generation after generation. They're the vehicles, both big and small, that took us down those first few miles on the road of life. And while many remain only as precious memories of our youth, we will never outgrow these trusted friends. They will forever be our favorite toys.